Brown has been getting some sporadic minutes. We're hoping it's a long shot.
Shout out to the 414, shout out to Milwaukee, shout out to all the Bucks fans out there. It is episode 1 of Keeping It a Buck podcast. I am your host, KDG, back again with another one. Now, we're going to talk about Jabari Parker. Of course, we got to talk about Jabari Parker. We're going to talk about the coach, Mike Budenholzer, and we're going to end it up with some summer league takeaways, man. So let's get right into the show, man. Like I said, I want to keep these 10 minutes in short. Don't want to take too much of your people's time. So let's get right into it. Now, Jabari Parker. Hate to see him go, man. Honestly, as a huge Jabari Parker fan, I feel like he caught a lot of flack, man. I feel like he caught a lot of hate from some fans. People used to knock his defense. People used to always talk about what Jabari can't do and what he doesn't do. They said he was out of shape. They said he couldn't stay healthy. They gave him little crazy nicknames. And I just found that odd and just crazy that a Milwaukee Bucks fan will go against a guy that actually loves Milwaukee. He actually loved the city of Milwaukee. And it's just unfortunate that the franchise themselves did not have that same kind of love, that same kind of patience that I feel like he brought to the team. Now, when Jabari got here, obviously he was supposed to be the franchise of the team. He was supposed to be what Giannis is today. But the 2 ACL injuries, pretty much hindered his start to his career, because I don't think his career is over. I don't think Jabari is done. I feel like Jabari is going to go to Chicago and ball out. I feel like he's going to be the guy on that team. And if healthy, Jabari is worth the $20 million that he's getting from the team. Now, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the numbers. Let's talk about why we did not even attempt to even throw him a contract. At least that's how it feels. The Bucks made a qualifying offer to bring him back. I think it was like $4 million or whatever. Bring him back, or to be able to match any offer that was given to him. What's crazy about this entire process, Bucks knew that they didn't have that much cap space to work with. They did not have that much cap. I want to say they had about $20 million to work with under the cap. Now, first day of free agency, who did they want to go sign? They went and got Ersan Ilyasova. Okay, I can understand that. Bringing Ersan, a guy that can stretch the floor. He was a guy that Mirza was supposed to be, that they lost, due to health issues. He has to pretty much retire. So they had to go out and get another guy just like that, and Ersan is the guy I feel like can do that. A week or so later, they go out and bring in Brook Lopez, albeit just $3 million deal. Not bad. But the problem is they did not have that much cap space to begin with. Now, what gave me hope that maybe Jabari's market isn't that high was the fact that Julius Randle got $9 million a year. I'm saying to myself, no way that Jabari gets offered more than Julius Randle, a guy that's been healthy. No way that they do that. No way Jabari gets offered more than 10 a year. I didn't see it happen. Fast forward to Friday, Jabari Parker is in the works of getting a contract with the Chicago Bulls. Saturday afternoon. It's pretty much a done deal that he resigns. Well, not resigns, but he signs with the Chicago Bulls 2 years, $40 million. Now, here's my takeaways with the Bucks. Either A, they didn't think of too much of Jabari's market. Maybe they felt like he wasn't going to get that much offers. It wasn't that a lot of rumors or traction behind him, if you think about it. Free agency started July 1st. You didn't start hearing nothing about Jabari Parker until July 13th, July 12th. So maybe they felt like his market wasn't that high, that they'll be able to still bring him back, or he takes the qualifying offer to come back for another season, which I hope he would have done. Or B, they didn't want him back. And that's just, and in my opinion, that is such a Bucks move. You draft a guy high, number 2 in the draft, just a few years ago. Draft him high, and then you let him go for nothing. For nothing. I'm sure during the trade deadline they could have got something for Jabari Parker, but it's such a Bucks move to let a guy go for nothing in return. Not to mention, there's a part C of this. The Bucks have so many players they have to re-sign next year. Chris Middleton, he's not going to take the extension. He wants to re-sign. He wants to re-up. He wants market value. He wants a max contract. Is he worth it? In my opinion, I think he is. I think he is worth the max contract or whatever they're offering him. Then you got to re-sign Malcolm Brogdon, Rookie of the Year. I would love for Malcolm Brogdon to stay with the team. I feel like he fits the scheme. I feel like he fits Milwaukee. Then you got a guy like Eric Bledsoe, who you gave up Greg Monroe for. Another guy you have to re-sign. He's going to look for some money, but you're not going to bring back all three of those guys. You don't have the cap to do it. So if I had to make a decision between, it's really going to come down between Eric Bledsoe and Jabari Parker. I would have just kept Jabari and tried to move Bledsoe because the bad contracts are coming back to hurt him. It's coming back to hurt him. They got to find a way to get out of him because guys like Henson is getting paid a lot of money. Tony Snell's getting paid a lot of money. And Matthew Dellavedova is getting paid a lot of money. So those are three bad contracts. You're going to have to find some way to move to make any type of movements this offseason, at least this upcoming offseason, to bring back at least two of those guys. So we'll see what's happening with that. That's all for the Jabari departure. Like I said, good luck to Jabari moving forward as a Chicago Bull. Can't wait to see him in Chicago because I can't wait to see those Bulls-Bucks matchups again. Can't wait to see it. Good luck to you, Jabari. We'll see you soon, bro. We'll see you soon. Now, let's move over to Mike Budenholzer because I think all of this plays into effect. I think this all plays into one. And I feel like Jabari being gone did not fit Budenholzer's quote-unquote vision. Now, if you look at the moves, look at his 3 moves that he's made since he's been coach. You went and signed Ersan Ilyasova, a guy that can stretch the floor. You went and drafted Dante DiVincenzo, a guy that can stretch the floor. And a Brook Lopez, a guy that can stretch the floor. Which gives me the idea that we're going to surround Giannis with shooters. We're going to give Giannis all the space in the world to operate. Nobody can stop Giannis one-on-one. Nobody can contain Giannis. If you can beat, if you're the only way you're going to beat him is drawing in a guy. Giannis kicks out. He's a great passer, and he finds his open man, and you knock down the open shot. If that's his vision, then maybe Jabari did not fit that scheme. Maybe he did not fit Budenholzer's vision. Because if you look at the Bucks standings, if you look at their stats, if you look at them as a 3-point shooting team, they're very behind. They're very, very behind of the age of what's going on, 3-point shooters. And so they was 27th in the league in 3-point attempts. They had to change that. They got to get more 3-point heavy, and you have to surround Giannis with shooters. I feel like Mike Budenholzer is making the right movements, the right moves in which he makes that stuff happen. Because Giannis doesn't need a 3-point shot. People will keep saying, let Giannis has to develop a 3-pointer. I don't think he does. The man was a top 5 scorer in the league, shooting pretty much dunks and little bunnies away from the basket. Mid-range. Giannis has a decent mid-range shot. He doesn't need a 3-point jumper to get better if you surround him with guys that can shoot around him. Give him space to work with. And so I think that's what Mike Budenholzer's vision is. And we have to watch this closely. I don't know if they're going to make any moves. I'll have that for another episode. But as of right now, I'm loving what we are doing as a team. I love what we're doing as a team. And to cap off the first episode of Keeping It a Book podcast, we got to talk about the Summer League. Now, the Summer League, if you guys watch it, I know a lot of people don't really watch the Summer League. Bucks made it to the second round of the quote-unquote playoffs. Lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. A little suspect, I would say so myself. They lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. They had an 8-point lead with a minute left. Blew an 8-point lead with a minute left. I feel like that foul was very tic-tacky that they gave up the and one, which pretty much gave Philadelphia the 1-point lead. However, some takeaways. Sterling Brown. I feel like Sterling Brown can be a useful piece on this team, especially as a role player. I don't know if he's going to be a starter, but I feel like Sterling Brown can be a good guy on the team. And Dante DiVincenzo, even though he didn't do too much on the team this year, I feel like because he was battling with a groin injury, I feel like he's going to fit the team. Obviously, he's a first-round pick. They're going to bring him in some way, somehow. DJ Wilson looked pretty decent in the Summer League, and Christian Wood looked amazing during the Summer League. Albeit, this Summer League, you can take it with a grain of salt, but we'll see what happens from there. But those were my takeaways. Nothing too major. Just some positive, primarily from those guys that I mentioned. But if you guys enjoyed the first podcast, If you're on YouTube, like the video. Soon to come to SoundCloud. Soon to come to iTunes. We're going to take this to the next level. And I want you guys to be a part of that. So subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to the podcast. We'll get with you guys another day. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.